So hello, yes. Just to continue, I'm a learning technology consultant and administrator. I recognize most of you. I am also, in my role, I do consultations with faculty members about sound pedagogical usage of technology in their courses. And also, I am the administrator for Kaltura MediaSpace on our campus. So I have the power to fix players and modify players and make things work differently. I can't give everyone everything they want, but I can definitely have a conversation with you to discuss what you're trying to do with media in your courses. So yes. And probably the most important slide, if I can get it up here. I'm just going to do full screen so I don't do that crazy Kaltura or crazy PowerPoint presenter thing. Is this slide right here, which we'll get the slide posted on the WordPress site for Active Teaching Lab, is this and all the valuable resources that are available to you if you're using Kaltura MediaSpace, or if you just really want to read some KB docs, if you're not having a hard time falling asleep or something. But so the most important one is the media portal, which if you want to, you can follow along if you have computers and go to mediaspace.wisc.edu. Anyone with a net ID can log in and they get an account automatically upon login. And that's actually an important point to make. If you're finding you're trying to share content with someone and their name is not popping up in the system, they have to have logged into MediaSpace at least once, because that creates their user account. So we have that. We have a very well-documented knowledge base site at kb.wisc.edu/uwmadkaltura. You're going to find things there like best practices, tutorials for all of the tools and features inside of MediaSpace. You'll also find, so the other URLs that are underneath that first one, news and known issues, those are just tabs inside of the knowledge base sites. Known issues is really important because if there's that thing that's frustrating you, it might have been already reported and there might already be a workaround for it, or maybe even a fix. And news will give you updates on features, like I was just down at the Midwest Kaltura User Group Conference and they demonstrated in-video quizzing, which was really, really cool. It allows you to actually pause the video and have multiple choice questions that you ask of your students, so you could do knowledge checks, and it creates CSV reports and whatnot. It was really cool. Kaltura has promised over the person that was there over his dead body to have that feature out by the end of the year. So that's where I would post, hi Sheila, that's where I would post information about new features that are added. Or for example, we just got access to something called Channels Playlist, which I don't even know what a Channels Playlist is, but we're testing it right now, and as soon as we turn it on, I will post about it at the news page there. And if you're an RSS geek, which I don't know if too many people are, but you can also get a RSS feed of the news feed inside the KB. Also very important, if you have any issues, any things going on in Kaltura that you cannot explain, that URL there allows you to bypass calling up and talking to someone at the help desk and instead just submit a quick little note saying, da-da-da-da-da, I can't get my player to work and I need some help. And it just shoots off a little ticket to the help desk, and eventually it can get escalated to me if they're not able to help you. So that's important as well. And then last but not least, if you would like some more FaceTime with me or any other people who are on my team, Dan LaValle, Dale Johnson, Zach, and Jake, you can request a consultation. So if something we cover today does not answer some of the questions you have in terms of what you would like to do with media, you could follow up by filling out that form there or giving us a call at that phone number right there, and we'll get routed. It will get routed to me or somebody on my team, and we'll sit down with you and figure things out. So, very important slide there. So I'm actually just going to use the web page for, if I can stay on my web page here, for Active Teaching Lab. Well, course, now I can't find it.
What are you looking for, Josh?
It's
My page.
Oh, scroll down.
Yeah, scroll down.
We already threw you down
Max
to the
is
bottom.
quick, he already put you into past sessions.
Yeah. It's ongoing, right in front of that. Yeah. Just,
Wow. Here, I'm just going to search for my name.
There we go.
Highlights. It's already highlights. We're apparently presenting in the past. All right.
He already shared those tips.
So what I want to do today is just do a quick overview of MediaSpace so you understand conceptually what MediaSpace is. And then we can talk about some of the key areas in MediaSpace. Really, it's a place where your media gets aggregated, and so the important places are how do you get your media inside of it? Once your media is inside of it, how do you edit it? Once your media is all inside of it and edited, how do you organize it? How do you then also share it? And then also, I'm a little bit of a geek, so I like analytics. And so how can you see how many people are looking at the media items that you posted and at the channels that you've created. So those are some of the key areas and things you can do with MediaSpace. Also, if we have time or if you say it's very important to you, we can look and see what the integration with Desire to Learn and with Moodle is like. We're also going to talk about some of the demonstrated real instructional use. Actually worked closely with Sheila Reeves for one of the examples is pre-recording your lectures for a flipped classroom model using something like Camtasia or some of the built-in tools if you want to. Other things we'll touch as we get to that part. And then of course a hands-on and a Q&A. So let's just do the quick overview and we'll go from there, and feel free to stop me at any point in time and ask questions. So like I said, if y'all want to, you can go to mediaspace.wisc.edu. Here it is. We have a few changes for this coming up. We're going to add some published media to the homepage, and I'm going to start soliciting different groups for media to post on the homepage. So I hope that becomes more of a display of some of the things that UW-Madison is proud of when it comes to video. But for now, it's just some tutorials that are hanging out on the homepage. One of the #1 questions we used to get is, I can't see my media, how do I get this stuff? And all you need to do is log in. And sometimes it's confusing because if you want to, you can actually set your media to be completely public so people can get to your content without having to log in at all. So then it gets confusing because then you need to log in to get to the management features and whatnot. Like I said earlier, before the recording was going, anyone with a net ID can log in and they automatically get an account. That's really important because if you're collaborating with a TA or working with your students and you need to change ownership of a media item, they need to have logged in at least once, because otherwise the system won't see their user account, so therefore you can't assign stuff to them. And you really want to assign stuff to your TAs, so you want to make sure they log in at least once. Okay, so like I talked about before, there's the important part of ingestion, organization, editing, etc. So in terms of ingestion, what you will have for options, I have a few more options because I'm an administrator, but what you have for options are to upload a video file that you've already created. So say you use something like Camtasia or QuickTime and you've recorded a video of yourself on your desktop. This is how you would, in the media upload, that's how you would get your video file in there. Webcam recording, this is some great pedagogical usage for this is it's just a built-in recorder in the web browser. It pops open. Everyone has a webcam in their laptops right now, except for maybe, does that Dell have a webcam? See, yeah, everyone has a webcam in their computers. So at any point in time, most of your students could potentially do a video response inside the discussion tool inside of Moodle or D2L instead of doing just a text response. Or some other usage, which we could talk about some more instructional usages in just a little bit. So that's what the webcam recorder can be used to do. You're also able to embed YouTube videos inside of MediaSpace, which is a little confusing, but it doesn't download the content from YouTube or anything like that. It simply just takes the video, and wraps it inside of the context of your course and course material. So they get kind of, it all feels and looks the same instead of being all this different stuff. So you could embed some videos that you find that are important for your course and your content and throw them in MediaSpace and keep them all in one spot. What's important to note is if that video is taken down on YouTube, it will no longer be viewable via MediaSpace because it does not download or acquire the video. You do not have access to record a presentation. Video presentation is a tool I do not often recommend because it's Flash-based and a little bit clunky. You also cannot, the content you create from it, you cannot embed anywhere. You have to point people directly to it. But what video presentation is it allows you to synchronize essentially slides with video material. So if you're talking and you want your first slide to show up at time point 1 minute and 30, and then your second to show up at time point 2 minutes and 40, you could do that inside of the video presentation tool. And then last but not least, we have the screen recording tool, which is Java-based, so it's a little bit tricky to get running, but it does work fine in Firefox. And it's actually kind of handy. It records the screen and your webcam and your microphone. So, and that's how you can get content inside of Kaltura. Which one of these do you guys want to see? Yeah, what's up?
The screen recording one does, that'll do a picture of your face or whatever is in the webcam here and what's on the screen.
You bet. Do you guys want to see the screen recorder
So
for a
that could be
demo?
a way to do the video presentation instead of side by side, just
That is correct.
picture inside your slide. Okay.
There's not advanced editing options like in the video presentation, but yeah, it's a way to do it. And basically these are kind of rudimentary, simple tools. If you want something more advanced, you can look to third-party tools, alternative tools like Camtasia by TechSmith is quite popular for doing screen and webcam recording. And there's some other free tools out there. If you need help with finding those free tools, let me know. My team's researched a bunch of them.
Office 10 PowerPoint has an add-on called Mix,
It does indeed, and it's free. It's Office Mix.
and it works quite nicely.
Yep, but it is only for PCs.
Yes.
So it's this
But you
add-on.
can you can save it as MP4.
That is correct, and then you can upload it to Kaltura if you'd like. I've used it; it's quite good, and it's a little add-on that runs on top of PowerPoint, and it allows you to record your webcam and your presentation at the same time.
Yeah.
You can also, if you host it within the Office Mix website, you can also integrate in some quizzing and stuff like that inside of it. Yes, so that's an option for the PC users. There's also a few other things out there called Open Broadcaster software. Mac users can use QuickTime, which is built in to record their screen. Every single Mac user has QuickTime X. Also built into OS X is Photo Booth, which allows you to easily record your webcam if you prefer doing it there. And yes, there's a whole bunch of stuff. So if these tools don't work for you, use that contact information on the first slide and let us know and we can help you out. So which one of these do you guys want to see? This is that open question where everyone goes, because I don't think we have
Media upload isn't that the one that's most?
it's pretty ubiquitous, yes. So I'm going to cheat a little. I don't know if we want this in the video. I'm going to do what I normally do, which I go to YouTube and I do a search for, I think I found a good video with these wolves that also has captioning. So I'm going to do some filters here and say, show me everything that has subtitles. Not count. Everything that has subtitles and everything that's Creative Commons.
Subtitles and rules, Holly?
Yeah. There we go. This animated wolf video that someone randomly made. So why I'm doing this is because I'm going to use a YouTube downloader, which is the part I said I don't know if we want a video.
You got all these audio files on your laptop and you don't have any video files?
Oh, I have a bunch on there. I also just wanted to show that this was possible.
For educational use.
For educational fair use purposes. So at the end, they get bonus points if they could do this on their own. All right. So I'm going to download that. Also, the other reason I picked this video is because I know it has subtitles. So I wanted to show you how we can use subtitles inside of the video as well. So there we go. I've downloaded those 2 videos. Now if I hop over to MediaSpace and do media upload, choose a file, and I'll go to my downloads, and throw wolf and cat animation. I didn't know there was a cat in it, but anyways. All right, so as it's uploading, we can change the title. We could also add a description here. And in the description, it's a rich text editor, so you can throw images in here, URLs to relevant material, supplemental material. What's kind of cool is if you embed a YouTube video, it actually pulls in the title and the description from the original YouTube video for the embed feature. You could also add tags for your own organizational purposes. So say you have 4 different classes, you can tag all the videos with one of those classes as, I don't know, Anthro 150, and then tag another one as Anthro 250. So I often do test, and of course, wolf. And cats. We got to do cats. Not Kate and Roberts, but just cat. All right, so now we have our privacy options. We have private, unlisted, and published. Private means only you can see it, but you can still, if you grab the embed code, you can still throw it on a departmental website or what have you, even if it's private. Unlisted means anyone in the world, if you give them a URL, they have to have that URL and they can get to it and see it. They don't have to log in or anything. And then published is what allows you to put your content into a channel, which a channel is just a bucket of media that has a relevant theme, and you can track usage statistics and viewing statistics on a channel. So I'm going to hit save first, otherwise it won't let me do the published thing. I'm going to hit published. And I'm going to select, you'll see publishing category, I'm an admin, that's why I have the category thing, but in channel I have this, let's see here, I think I did a production public channel. There we go. Also what we have now is the ability is you can make channels completely public now if you decide that you want to. Say you have a lot of different populations in your class, both outreach and UW-Madison people. You can make a channel public, and that way you can give people a URL to a channel, which is an aggregation of your media, which could include audio, images, and videos. Right? So you can just send out a link and say, here's all the media from this course. All right. And hit
Josh, quick question about the
Of
channels
course.
that are showing up there. There are a lot of them that are like 6-digit numbers. Is that what happens if you don't title your channel? It automatically gets assigned a 6-digit number?
No, I think those are like D2L courses.
Okay.
Do you have those in yours? I can't remember if you do or not.
Josh, what's the advantage of storing the media for your course here instead of in maybe that Moodle if that's where you're doing the rest of your course?
The answer to that is they're all being stored in the same place. So this is just the lens through which you are storing and organizing your media. You can also have different lenses for where you decide to display your media. So even though I uploaded this in MediaSpace, if I hop into D2L right now and go to Insert Stuff, My Media, this will be there. So you have Moodle, you have D2L, you have this MediaSpace portal. It's all pointing to the same video repository.
Is that Moodle UW? I use Moodle through extension.
I don't know about that, but the official UW-Madison Moodle
okay.
has the integration on there. Okay, so that's on there. I also want to make sure I show you how to do some other cool stuff. So I'm going to click on the Actions button here and go to Edit. And we have a bunch of tabs here that let you do a bunch of things. So I'm going to make sure I get my captions up there, which accessibility is important. So I downloaded that SRT file, which is my caption file. I'm going to select a language. I'm thinking it's English, at least I'm hoping. I want to do British English. All right, so now we'll have captions with it as well. So this is your power right here. This is where you can do a ton of stuff with your videos. Details shows you the information we got to before. Options lets you turn on or off commenting within a media item. Collaboration allows you to make someone else the owner of a media item.
Provided they've already logged in.
Provided they've already logged in. And here's a pro tip. If you need access to a media item in the future, make yourself a co-editor or co-publisher first before giving it to someone else, because if you give it to someone else, you can't see it anymore. So, and then you have to either contact that person or contact the administrator. So power tip is make yourself a co-editor, co-publisher before changing ownership. Attachments, I just used this afternoon. We had a webinar on Kaltura that we recorded. And in that webinar, I showed them the PowerPoint presentation that I had. And so we took the recorded webinar, uploaded it to MediaSpace, and I attached the PowerPoint to the video. So underneath the video, it says attachments, and you could put in multiple attachments. So say you talk about a Word document and a PowerPoint, you can attach all those files under the video if you want.
So where do they show up?
Here, I'll show you in that the video I just did. Right there, attachments, right next to the share, details and like, and you could put multiple attachments there.
And then they just download to the individual person's computer.
Yep, I just hit download and it gives me the file. So it's a good way to do supplemental material. Say you talk about PDFs, journal articles, whatnot. I mean, a lot of people are just going to store that stuff inside their learning management system or website or what have you. But, you know, I kind of like this. The PowerPoint's in the video. Keep the PowerPoint next to the video.
Can Kaltura be used for like a manual forward, basically for hosting a PowerPoint or for hosting a presentation where the user has the opportunity to move forward in the slides or backwards? Instead of downloading, and I just...
At first I was like, a manual forward. Are you talking about a manual? Yes, so not like the next back and forth, but if you go to the timeline option right here,
Yeah.
you could actually place chapter markers inside the timeline, which then show up in the video, and they allow your students or viewers to hop around to different points. So if you have longer videos, that would be a handy thing to do. We did captions already. You could change the thumbnail of your video, which I don't need to go into depth in that. It's just changing what the preview is. You can designate whether or not your users can download the video, and you can designate which quality you want them to be able to download. So if you want them to have a lower quality version, so it decreases the chances of them pirating it, but you still want them to be able to download it, you could do a lower quality version. And that shows up in the same area. It shows up right here as downloads. Timeline, I just said, was chapter markers. You can hop to any point in the video and do chapter markers. This replace video option here is something that's not available in a YouTube or a Vimeo. It's really kind of cool, especially if you're using this for marketing purposes. But basically, say you upload a video and you sneeze during the video and you want to edit out the sneeze. Well, if you've already posted it and people have been watching it for a year and you want to keep the analytics you have attached to that video container, what replace video allows you to do is go in, pull out the video that has you sneezing, and then put the edited version without the sneeze back in, but you keep everything that's associated with the video container. So that's pretty cool. I don't think that might be in Vimeo. I know it's not in YouTube. So.
Can I go back two steps about the download definition that you talked about?
You bet.
When I embed my lecture videos, all the kids want the download button, but I don't really want them to download it, but I click on it anyway because they want it.
So we provide a few different players in
Yes.
the embed code, and one of them is with download.
Yes.
But there is no way for me to turn on a way for you to adjust the quality of that download. You'd have to contact me separately,
Okay.
and I can, we could talk about setting up a custom player for you that has a different quality setting for the download, because you want a lower quality version, right?
Yes,
Yeah, stop stealing my stuff, you
Right.
kiddos.
I do. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
Without saying it.
Hopefully they don't, no. Yeah, so just contact me on the
Okay.
side with those things and we can talk about it. It's a pretty simple switch to change the quality. So for me, on the back end.
Yeah, perfect, thank you.
And then, of course, trim video is exactly what it sounds like. Unfortunately, it uses Flash, but here, you just come in and you change where you clip off parts of your video and you can trim. So if you do a screen recording and you start out the video and you have some like just getting ready on your screen, you can just come in and trim it easily inside of Kaltura. The other thing you can do is if you have a longer video and you want to create smaller clips that are separate video files, you can just hit the create clip button here and you'll create smaller clips from a bigger video.
Do you have to mark the places first before you create the clip, or is that the
Well, here,
impetus to
I'll show you.
set up? Yeah.
It's basically the same interface, except you're making a separate video. And now that I say it, I can't remember if trim video creates a separate video also. I'm forgetting off the top of my head. But I do know for sure create clip creates a separate video, and you go in and you just select the section that you want as a separate video.
So it's rudimentary editing.
Very rudimentary editing. For the most part, that's like what a lot of people need is just to
Yeah.
clean up the edges a little bit and you're done.
Can you append a clip to another clip and
You cannot do appending. The only way you could do appending is if you create a playlist and embed a playlist. So you can take multiple clips, throw them in a playlist, and embed that somewhere. Ever since a presentation I had with Sheila, and actually ones before that too, is it's kind of nice to keep in a little bit of the rough things like the sneezing and the kind of distractions and things like that, because it shows that you're a human. And if you're doing an all online course, any kind of humanity you can get with all the technology is kind of an awesome thing. Anyway, so
edit in sneezes?
yeah. Just
Is there a stock video footage of just people sneezing?
Just do a sneeze remix. I'm sure that's on YouTube. Let me go download it right now. So, I know there is a video of Heidi Klum saying "You're in" on Project Runway over and over again.
Oh.
Anyway, so yeah, you can preview and do all that stuff. So then, okay, so this is just our individual media item. Let me hop into my media. I really want to show you analytics. Basically, analytics for channels and media items looks the same. The only difference is for channels, you're getting analytics for all of the video clips that are inside of a channel. And for individual media items, you're just getting the analytics for those media items. So if I go into, I don't know, I'd have to find one. Well, I'll go into my media. So I've used things like, if there's videos that I need to share with people at work, like I have a, actually I'm gonna go into my channels. I have a channel for Kaltura admins that I use to post relevant videos from webinars and conferences that I mark private, and I have it set to about 5 people that are in my team, and they can come in and they can see videos. I love the ornery cat. I just like, anyway, so that's a custom thumbnail that I put on there, so you can, put your logo or your brand on a channel using the thumbnail if you want. So let's see here, we had engagement and learning. And you can see already a little bit of stats there. Well, in fact, here, let me just show you the stats on the channel. So I come up to actions for the channel where I can edit it, and that could be changing permissions, adding members. I can come into analytics here, and I'm going to put, this might take a little while to refresh for a year, but you can get an idea.
It's like a slot machine.
There we go.
Oh, I'm lost.
You can get an idea, top engaged users, top contributors, et cetera, et cetera. And you can really break it down if you want to by media item, and you can download CSVs if you're really geeky and want to get it in Excel and create a data visualization, if you need to do a report to your managers on usage, that kind of thing. So I really like the analytics. Or you could just see how well your students are engaged.
And whether they get more engaged immediately after their midterm or...
So speaking of engagement, I want to hop back just to this presentation here because I really liked these stats that I pulled. So I have access, I can view all of the stats for all of your videos in aggregate for UW-Madison. So we can see here, I pulled these numbers about 2 weeks ago, and these numbers are from September 7th, the beginning of the semester, to 2 weeks ago. And we could see that there's approximately 6,000 media items that were played 220,000 times. What I really like is the average view time of these plays was 8 minutes and 39 seconds. So that was the average amount of time that people actually viewed the videos that were posted. And then 65% of the media items were played from beginning to end, which means 35% were not. So if you have an hour and 30-minute video, no one is watching your video to the end. That's pretty much what that tells me for the media you're posting to Kaltura, which I love, it's great.
Do you have stats on the average length of the video?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I do as well. I can pull them up. Can we make a note somewhere to remind me? Because I can post that on the WordPress page for people to let them know. You guys have stats for your channels and for your media items, and then I have stats for like everything. So, also in terms of support and access, you can see 17,000 plays occurred in D2L, 23,000 occurred in MediaSpace. By far, most of them were on desktop, 213,000 on desktop, 3,000 on a smartphone, and 2,000 on tablet. Kaltura dynamically adjusts to the size of the screen, so you don't have to worry about, like in the olden days, creating a mobile version or anything like that. We had that question in the webinar today. And by far, most of the views are in Chrome and then Safari, which I found shocking. I guess it's given the number of Macs, and then Firefox. Like I thought it would have been Firefox first. So that kind of helps me from a troubleshooting standpoint, but that also might help instructors or people who are posting their media online.
Do you know the breakdown of smartphones, Android versus iPhone?
I do. I did not post that for this audience, but if you'd like to know, let me know and I can pull the numbers for you. So, yes, and that's kind of the general usage. Do you have questions? Because I thought we could jump in and do some hands-on too if you
I
want.
have a couple questions.
Of course.
I've been waiting to ask you for
Burning questions.
yes. Do they expire? Like
Not currently, no.
Okay.
There are plans to kind of, you would be very well communicated
Okay.
with if there was any kind of expiration plans put in place, but there are currently projects with UW System to create kind of rules that, like, if you have a media item that hasn't been played in 2 years, we're going to archive that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And my other question is, I still don't understand the difference between a channel and a playlist.
Love it. Playlists, you can organize in what order your media items are played. In channels, you cannot.
Oh.
That is the main difference. The other side difference is you don't have analytics on playlists, you have analytics on channels, but you do have analytics on the individual media items inside playlists. Also, with channels, you can do more collaboration with your peers and fellow instructors or with students. So we haven't gotten into all the pedagogical usages. There's a channel permission called shared repository that allows students to just add everything into that bucket. So you could do, what I really want to see an instructor do, which I haven't seen yet, is like a video scavenger hunt. Students can actually upload content from their smartphones directly to Kaltura. It'd be really cool for them to do scavenger hunt, and then you're all throwing it in a shared repository, and there's commenting inside MediaSpace, so you could have people kind of talk back and forth on the media items they posted. So yeah, channels. So playlists, it's really like, I have curated these set of videos and I think you should watch them in this order. Channels are more like, here, peruse, look at all this awesome stuff. And there's a little more power there too in terms of back-end management.
And shared repository is a channel.
So it is a permission. So when you create a channel, you have the option of doing like open, private, public, and one of them is shared repository.
So that, I was listening and then I got more excited after I forgot what I just heard.
Oh no. I mean, yay.
I was letting it go like this, and then I heard a word that says, "Oh shoot, you should have just remembered what he said." So when you talked about the video scavenger hunt,
Yes.
you talked about that in terms of the shared repository.
Yes.
So set up a shared repository.
Yes. So right now it would work better for a smaller class because you
Right.
have to add permissions for individually for students.
And then they simply pull it up on their smartphone.
Yep, so if they go to mediaspace.wis.edu on their smartphone, I mean, technically, they don't even have to go to mediaspace.wis.edu on their smartphone at first. All they need to do is use their built-in video recorder app, which is usually in the camera app on all phones, record something, and then when they go to MediaSpace on there, it looks to their, their gallery, and they can upload stuff. You'd have to give them a little instruction and say, publish it to the shared repository called, Awesome Madison Scavenger Hunt. Which there are, as John pointed out, which I didn't even know, there's 43 different KB docs, and one of them is channels and how to publish to channels. So you could just point them right to a knowledge base document and say, follow this document, and if it doesn't do, that document doesn't do what you need it to do, leave some feedback and we can tweak it.
Thanks.
Are you giving it a shot?
Yeah.
Sweet. Yes. So video scavenger hunt. I've known of instructors that use it for video discussion instead of just regular text-based discussion because it's built into D2L. Like wherever you have a field where you can put text, you could also put video instead. And the same goes for Moodle as well. Wherever there's a field, you can put in video. If you guys want to see some of the Moodle or D2L stuff, I could show that too. Or we could do hands-on, or we could keep doing Q&A.